Assalamu alaikum. This is again Sadia J, blabbering away about things I'm learning and discussing with you. So last time we talked about baseline contrast. So baseline contrast between very stimulating tasks like scrolling, watching drama or anime or things stuff like that, and then things like studying or work. And what I ended with was that what interests me a lot is the this concept of starting small. So sometimes when we are really struggling to start a task, the advice or tips we're given is that you have to start really small. Why is that? So in this case, I'm gonna show you in the picture, what I'm gonna show you is not a stimulus baseline but an effort baseline. So for example, if you haven't worked for a long time, your effort baseline is really low, like this. And if you set a really high goal, like I'm gonna study for 5 hours or I'm gonna work for 5 hours or 7 hours a day, then effort that effort requires this kind of that goal requires this kind of a high baseline. And the brain is like, no way man, we can do that leap. We can do that massive kind of jump. That's why we're told to set incredibly small goals so that we can start. Why? Because again, if this is the effort baseline, which is very small, if this is the effort baseline, which is very small, what happens when we set a very small goal is our brain sees that the effort required to reach that goal isn't very far away. It's not a huge leap, so our brain can take that leap. So our brain is not fighting with us as much, and it's not resisting us as much, and it's more likely to start the task. And a lot of times what happens is that when we start a task with a very small goal, like I'm gonna just sit down and open a book, or I'm just gonna sit down and open my laptop and open my work file and work for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. What happens is when we work for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, that's what our brain gets used to. So that becomes the new effort baseline of our brain. So for example, if we see as picture, so here it was the first goal of studying or working for just 2 minutes. And now this is not the effort baseline anymore. This is the effort baseline right now. So when you're setting another goal, like, okay, 5 more minutes or 2 more minutes, now your brain is like, okay, we can make that leap. And then again, after 10 to 15 minutes, you're like, okay, 10 or 15 more minutes. And your brain is again like, we can make that leap. It's not too high. So if you're here and you're making this high a goal, your brain is going to freak out because this is a long jump. But if you go step by step like this, you are climbing the staircase. So it's like climbing a staircase. You are not jumping from step 0 to step 10. You are going step by step. Step 1, then step 2, then step 3, 4, 5, and then you're eventually making it to step 10. That's why the brain's resistance is lower. So setting impossibly small tasks is something that reduces our brain resistance and helps us not just get started, but create a momentum that helps us keep going. Now the question is, what if I set a really small goal and just do that little bit of goal? So for example, if I set this goal of studying or working for just 5 to 10 minutes, and that's exactly what I do. I don't climb the staircase. I do only that bit. What happens then? So last time we were like, if we start a goal, we can keep climbing a stairs like this. We create a momentum here of working for 10 to 15 minutes. Then we set another goal of working for 10 to 15 minutes more, and then more and more and more. And that's how we kept climbing the staircase until we reached the end. So what if we don't climb the staircase? What if we stop right at the first step? The thing is, science says that even then, it's helpful. It means that even though you're not climbing the whole staircase in one day, you are climbing the whole staircase on a day-by-day basis. So let me make it easier. So when you're doing this, you're climbing the whole staircase in one day. But when you're doing small tasks, what happens is each day, for example, for the first day you set a goal that I'm just going to touch the book, open the book, and sit down with it for 1 minute. And not even read one page, just sit down with it for 1 minute. Is that really going to help? Science says that it does help. this is where there's hope, especially for those with executive dysfunction. So I open my book, I sit down for just 1 minute, and then I close it. Done. What I do is the next day when I try to do that, the resistance is lower because it feels familiar. So the brain is like, okay, we did this yesterday, did this bit yesterday, we can do this bit again. And then we can add just a little bit more, read for 2 to 3 minutes. So that day's effort ends there. So first day we just sat down with the book for 1 minute, we didn't even read. Next day we sat down with the book again because it felt familiar and we read for 2 to 3 minutes. Next day it's gonna feel familiar again. So we will be more likely to open the book and read for 2 to 3 minutes. And then, if we wish, we can add to it like 2 to 3 more minutes. So on the third day, we open the book, it's familiar, read for 2 to 3 minutes, that's familiar too. And then we read for 2 to 3 more minutes. So on the first day, we opened the book, we didn't read anything. On the second day, we opened the book, we read for 3 minutes. On the third day, we opened the book and we read for 6 minutes. So even though we are not climbing the whole staircase in one day, we are doing it per day. Like one day it would look more like this. This is the first day, and then second day, third day. Look that it's not increasing much, but it's increasing in the long term. It is increasing, it is going up. The effort baseline is going up, the goal is going up. And then again, when you get tired, instead of not doing anything, you just have a very baseline goal that, okay, even if I don't study, I'm gonna open the book and sit with it for 1 minute or 30 seconds. What happens then is you have this kind of a streak. So you are not having a streak of studying 30 minutes every day or studying 13 hours every day, but you are still creating momentum. You're still not creating a huge gap between today and next week. Each day there is a little bit of momentum, each day there is a little bit of familiarity, so the brain can come back again to the same task because it feels familiar, because there's already momentum. So that's how even setting smaller goals helps. You keep going and you keep increasing your goal like this, and then you keep going like this, increasing and then taking a break again and then increasing again. So even if you set a small goal and do only that instead of keeping on going and increasing into 1 or 2 hours, it still matters a lot. Your brain still registers evidence that you kept a promise to yourself, and your brain registers familiarity and momentum, and that helps you climb the staircase, even if not in one day, but at least in 15 days. That's still a lot of progress. So don't give up, anyone, okay?